into her life. She was only 9 years old, and I would tuck her in. And she said to me, "Are you going to be here forever?" And
Yeah.
I knew by her asking me that is that she had doubts, right?
Yeah.
Because she's seen other women in and out of her life, and she was only 9. And I just said to her, "I'm here, I'm here now, and I can promise you I'll be here tomorrow. I don't know what the future
Right.
holds."
Right.
And I say that a lot even for myself because what happened to me, right? I thought I was going to be married forever. I
Yeah.
and I didn't know, that after almost 16 years of marriage that whew, it was going to be gone, right?
Right. Hi, guys. I'm your host, Megan Van Diepender, and this is the Empowerhood Podcast. I am so happy to have you here. Motherhood is hard, and we are going to talk about all of the hard things that just are not talked about enough. So, buckle up and enjoy this episode. Hey, Rosemary, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Megan?
I'm doing great. Thanks. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, everyone out there listening today, we have Rosemary McHugh. She's going to tell us a little bit about her journey through motherhood and to finding this new exciting passion and purpose that she has at New Scotland Liquors. Or did I say that right?
New
Spirits, New
Scotland.
Scotland Spirits. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I'm so excited to hear all about this because, of course, Chelsea has told me so much about you. But why don't you start by telling us a little bit about you? Who is Rosemary?
Well, I thought about this. I am, um, I guess, self-motivated. I'm driven. I feel like sometimes I'm a rubber band. Every time I get knocked down, I'm not saying I don't stay down, but I don't stay down for long. I keep coming back. So there's no snapping here. um, and I think my reason for that, a lot of it is my kids. They're
Yeah.
my inspiration, my rock. I always want them to, be proud of who I am just as much as I want to be proud of them. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to say I'm a boss bee.
Yeah. I
I
love
don't know
it.
if you can say that on here or not.
I love it. That's awesome. So how many kids do you have, Rosemary?
So I have two boys myself, but I have three stepchildren as well, whom I've raised. The oldest one was 19 when I came into his life, and then Megan and Nick. So I have a George, a Daniel, a Michael, a Megan, and a Nick. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all my kids.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your motherhood journey. So you said you have two of your own, and then you had stepchildren after that, or was it before?
No, after.
Okay.
It was after. So I raised my two boys on my own, and that was very, very challenging. Their dad decided one day that wasn't for him. So what do you do at that point, right? You have two young kids. My kids were young at the time, and it was definitely challenging, but you needed to. I mean, we were married for almost 16 years. So yeah, it was devastating. It was challenging. But when I look at them now and I listen to them talk, they're two wonderful young men, 26 and 24. And I'm very proud. So,
Mm.
sometimes I think we lose sight and we want to feel sorry for them. Because it also affects them when you're going through a divorce, not just yourself.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can't feel sorry for them because it's giving them a crutch,
Yeah.
and you need to grow from it, they need to grow from it. Yeah, I get it, it sucks, but we don't know the hand that we're going to be dealt in life, and
Yeah.
you need to decide what you're going to do with it at that point, right? So
Yeah.
but they turned out great. I can't complain, I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, so was their dad still involved in their life or no?
No, he took off. He moved to a different state and
Wow.
left us here, so
How
yeah,
old were your
it's I mean
kids? How old were your kids when this happened?
9 and 11.
Okay. Wow. So what did you have to change in your life like when this happened? I mean, you became a single mom and I'm pretty sure you were working too, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Um, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't slightly crumble because that would be being in denial. I totally did because you have a plan and then all of a sudden that plan is changed not by choice of yours, right? So if it wasn't for me to take a good look at myself, I feel like I needed to not be selfish and I needed to put those depressing feelings, sad feelings, angry feelings aside. And I had boys to raise. I had boys to raise, and that was my drive.
Yeah.
So I worked. I worked. I tried not to. They had to grow up quick too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they turned out okay, and we have a great bond, which I love. And their dad is comes and visits now, and I think he realizes he missed out on being part of two great, incredible men. And we have a good relationship, and he'll tell me, those two boys are great. You did a great job, and I'm like, thank you,
So wait, he's
thank you
back
very
in their
much.
life now?
Yeah, he comes to visit. He still lives out of state, and he does visit them, and they go out and visit him. And
Okay.
they have I think they're trying to have a relationship, which I think is great. I mean, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, they're his boys and he's their father. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's great that they are giving him a chance, and they have him in his life.
So he kind of disappeared for a bit, and then as they got older, he started coming back around to visit and whatnot.
Yeah, I think he kept in touch with calling them and things like that. There was definitely some issues along the way, when they had to go to college and wanted to go to college. And obviously it's always about, it's kind of sad when a parent looks at their child as a dollar sign, and they don't want to invest in their child. But
Yeah.
we it didn't matter to me because at the end of the day, I was going to make sure that if schooling is what they wanted, we were going to make that happen, right? I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't get to go to college till later in life. My parents are both from Italy. I was raised a little old school. I've been on my own since I was 17 years old,
Wow.
and I wanted to make sure that my kids knew what was out there for them,
Yeah.
and that there's resources. So you don't need to come from a wealthy family.
Right.
If you want something bad enough, you go out and get it. You make it
Right.
happen.
Right. And it's
So,
never too late, right? Which you learned too. You went to
oh
school a
yeah,
little bit later. It's never too late to change your profession or go to school or all that.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that. It's not. It's definitely not. I went to school. My son Michael was graduating from high school, and even Daniel. When they were graduating from high school, they went to Bethlehem, and we were looking at colleges, and I was a little upset that he didn't want to go right away or whatever. But then I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? I can go. I can go to college. And I did. I went
Yeah.
to go get my degree. And my son Michael, when he graduated, he came to the same campus that I was in. So when I got my degree, he was in the audience getting his
Oh
certification.
my
So it was kind of
God.
so we're both in cap and gowns. And how many kids can say they graduated college with their mom?
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was pretty awesome. And you sit there and you have like this stereotype in your head that you think your kids are going to be embarrassed of you, or they're going to be like, yeah, no, I don't want to be seen with my mom. And my kids were never like that. I mean, they were never like that. I was an aide at the school.
Yeah.
And they used to run over and say hi to me when they saw me. So, which I always thought was pretty cool. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I just think putting out there that, it's never too late to learn or continue to learn, right? Like we're never
right.
just like made it. We can always learn something else. I know I try to tell my daughter that. So I hope she wouldn't be embarrassed if I was in her college. I don't have plans to do that, but oh, that's funny. So when did you get your stepkids? When did you get remarried?
I got remarried in 2011,
Okay.
and one was Nicholas was 6, and going on 7, and Megan was 8 going on 9.
Okay.
So now Nick is 19 and Megan is going to be 22 in a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I've been in their life for 12 years.
Amazing. Now, how did you meet your next husband?
I met him. I applied for a job, and he couldn't afford me. Um, and then he asked me on a date. Go figure, right? Then
There
he
you
asked me out on
go.
a date. And then, shortly thereafter, he got married. He deployed overseas, and because he was in the military, and he was gone for probably a good portion of those years. He went over to Kuwait for a year. He came back in 2013, and then he still traveled and commuted back and forth. So he wasn't really ever home. So it was me and 5 kids.
I was gonna say, so you took over three
Yeah,
more kids. Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
still working at the time too, full time?
Yep. Yep, and running. I was working for his firm and keeping the law firm together. Then we had some rental properties, and then a household, and then five kids. The oldest one, Georgie, he was a great help. He was 21 years old, and he was a good kid. He helped out a lot with the other kids. I mean, if you think about it, you have a daughter. There was dance, there was softball, there was football, there was
Yeah.
Pop Warner,
That's why I'm
there
like,
was parent
how did you do this?
there was dentist appointments. There was a lot. There was definitely a
Yeah.
lot. But you know what? I look back and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It was my
Yeah.
purpose. I got up each and every day because I knew that they needed me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a little challenging now that they're all grown up
Yeah. I
and
know you got to like
their own.
redefine your purpose.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but
That's
it's definitely
amazing.
been a ride. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
No, you're still
That's
married to this man, right?
Well, no. Yes, but no, I separated from him earlier this year.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Now are was it like mutual or what happened? Are you okay talking about it?
Yeah, definitely. So over the course of the years, there's been some behavior. And I think, I kind of slightly blame myself a little bit because I allowed it. I knew what was going on. And I think I just didn't want to admit it. For
Yeah.
one, I didn't want to see my kids go through it again, and his kids, because I wasn't his first, and he had been married other times. And I can remember Megan when I first came into her life. She was only 9 years old, and I would tuck her in, and she said to me, "Are you going to be here forever?" And
Yeah.
I knew by her asking me that is that she had doubts, right?
Yeah.
Because she's seen other women in and out of her life, and she was only 9. And I just said to her, "I'm here, I'm here now, and I can promise you I'll be here tomorrow. I don't know what the future
Right.
holds."
Right.
And I say that a lot even for myself because what happened to me, right? I thought I was going to be married forever.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, that after almost 16 years of marriage that whew, it was going to be gone, right?
Right.
So here's a 9-year-old little girl. I'm not gonna make her a promise that I can't. I don't even know,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't know. And look at where I am today,
Right.
right? So did I know that I'd leave her dad after 12 years? No.
Yeah.
I really thought that this time was different. I was totally broken when my first husband did what he did to me and the kids, and I thought that he knew that, and I did not expect for it to happen again.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
That's so hard.
again, yeah, again, you're gonna do you. What do? Right?
Right.
You pick yourself back up and you just move on. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, you've come across so many different things. So when did you start with this new business? And this has become your new, kind of purpose and passion at New Scotland Spirits.
I started in, I want to say July of this year. So I've known Jesse on and off. So I'm a big volunteer person. I love volunteering. I love paying it forward, whether it's veteran stuff, whether it's for, food banks, whether it's for kids, for churches, whatever the case may be. I just
Mhm.
have a passion for that. And so I used to do events, and Jesse did one of my events that I started back in COVID, which was the River Fest for 9/11. I always thought, it was important not to forget. And we did a tribute to 9/11 since 2020. So he came and set up, and I've always found it very intriguing. But recently, I got a full-time job with the county in economic development and business development. Go figure, right? Love
Right.
to help out the community. And he came into my office and he had no idea that I worked there. So, I took a look at his business plan and I told him it was terrible and he needed to to consolidate it because it was way too big and nobody has time to go through that. But I was very intrigued because here is a young man and that was in the military and came up with this brilliant idea and
Yeah.
so self-driven, and he's taken it from um, just a small thing to this huge thing. And since I've been on board, it's gotten even larger,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we self-distribute. It's been an incredible journey for me. And yeah, I jumped in.
Yeah.
I jumped.
It is pretty incredible. Like, can you tell us a little bit about their mission and like how they make this the spirits and whatnot? Because it's all local to the capital region, right?
Correct. Yeah. So our grains are all locally sourced, and we distill with Schenectady Distillery and Albany Distillery. They've been absolutely fantastic. And then we go in, we bottle, we self distribute, we do our sales calls, and yeah, we do events just to get the word out. A lot of it for us is exposure
Hmm.
right now, and it's to get people to know who we are. We're a veteran-owned, woman-owned company, and yeah, we're hoping someday that somebody recognizes us and they come in and say, "Hey, we're gonna make life a little easier for you,
Yeah.
and we want you to continue to run this business, and we don't have to worry about the financial aspect of it, right? Because
Right.
because that's challenging
Yeah.
for us.
It's a stressor for
So.
sure. Now, are you just
Mhm.
in New York State?
Yeah, right now we're just in New York State. We're all the way up in Plattsburgh down to New Rochelle. We're in over 220 retail stores and restaurants, and we just keep growing each and every day. We utilize our connection. It's a little bit challenging for me because I have a full-time job.
Hmm.
And I do work for the county. And even though my position is all about small businesses and growing, whether it's a business that's already established or a new young entrepreneur, I don't have the time, right? And I would love to be able to contribute more time to New Scotland Spirit. So I dedicate a lot of my evenings, a lot of my weekends to do events, and I try to donate as much time as I possibly can to help this company grow and be
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds amazing. I've heard from you, but also from Chelsea. Really, stands by your mission and whatnot too. That's awesome. I mean, what are your goals for the business in the next couple of years?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I try not to look too far ahead, right?
Yeah,
Because what I would love for us to be known everywhere.
yeah.
I would love for us to be, you know, known just like those other top brands. And I know when people come up to me and I ask them, what do they drink? They're like, Jack Daniels. I'm like, Jack who? Right, right, 'cause I don't know who Jack is. And it takes them a minute, but then they start laughing. Our product sells itself. We just launched bottled our vodka. It's not in retail stores yet.
Okay.
A gorgeous bottle. So we're no longer just a whiskey company. We're
Yeah.
definitely expanding because we know people like vodka.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, baby steps, right? We're still a young company. We've only been around for just under 2 years. So yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
that's great.
been
There's a lot of growth within those 2 years too. So I know you were saying to me when we were at a luncheon together, like that women think they can't drink whiskey, but it's the way they do drink it, right? So can
right,
you explain this
right.
to us? I know you're like, I get
Um,
really mad when women say they can't drink whiskey.
I
So
I take
you
it
should.
personally. I take it personally because they make these faces or they're with their husband or boyfriend and they're like, oh no, not me. And I'm like, so I ask them, without offending them, and I ask them, what is it? And they tell me, it's the burning sensation. They feel like their chest is on fire, they're gasping for air. So it is all in how you're drinking it, right? So you're and not just whiskey, any hard liquor.
Okay.
And you sip it. You're not supposed to, we're not in college anymore. You're not supposed to be chugging it. So I try to tell them that if, and try not to overthink it. And over time, I think you get into the habit of it, but you hold your breath as if you were going to be blowing out a candle.
Okay.
And as you are sipping it and it starts to go down, you're keeping it on your palate a little bit, you're releasing the air. Now I release it from my nose because I'm not coordinated enough. I'm always worried about drooling. um, and as you're swallowing it, it does eliminate the burning sensation
Okay.
on your throat. And I have so many women say, "Oh, you know what? You're right." And if you do that, you actually can taste the flavors of the whiskey. We have a winter wheat that has the vanilla, the caramels, the butterscotch notes to it, and you really can taste it if you do it right. If you
Yeah.
don't, you're going to get that burning sensation
Right.
in your throat. So yeah, so it's interesting to me, and I love that they even listen to me and try it. And then I tell
Yeah.
them, hey, listen, at the end of the day, if you still don't like it, I'm going to be able to sleep at night because I know you
Right.
at least did it right,
You did it
right?
the right way. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to teach me. We'll have to try it sometime. Like me, you, and Chelsea will have to get together and you'll have to teach me how to do it. Because I've never even had whiskey. I haven't even tried to go that route, but no one's told me there's a way to drink it correctly, too. And I'm assuming that your whiskey, since it's like locally sourced and fresh and all that, it must taste differently than something coming from a huge, huge distributor. Is that true? Or am I wrong in that?
No, there's probably some truth to that. I was a big Basil Hayden or Bullet drinker, and I recently got into it. I was big into the vodka, the seltzers, the wines, right? But I'm also a big um, I do some personal training on the side, and I'm a gym guru, so I'm also about healthy, right? And I found out that wine had a lot of sugar in it, so
Yeah.
I kind of had to. So I'm not going to say I don't drink it. It's very, very rare. And I'm not saying whiskey's healthy for you either, but you're not going to drink as much of it as you drink
True.
wine. So,
True.
um, so yeah, and you can put it in mixed drinks as well. So yeah, I would have to say it's definitely smoother. I prefer it over the other two. Um, if I'm out and they don't carry our brand, which is a shame,
Yeah.
I will see if they have Bullet and I'll drink the Bullet. Sometimes
Okay.
I drink it on ice, sometimes I drink it neat. It depends on the mood, right?
Okay.
So,
Very cool. Well, yeah, I got to learn some more from you for sure.
well, we have
Now,
a tasting room opening up, so I'm hoping to do a
oh,
ladies'
cool.
night.
Yeah.
So, so you can come to that and we'll teach ladies how to drink whiskey. We'll have some picky foods and who knows, maybe we'll throw in a cigar.
Oh,
Who
goodness.
knows?
Wow. Lots of new things for me. I would love that, though. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Now, with this new venture and your full time job, has this helped ease you into your kids being older and like not needing you as much?
Um, yeah, yeah, it's funny because I was just talking about it to my son Michael. I said, he called and was asking me about some advice on a girl, which I love.
Yeah.
And I said to him, it's really hard sometimes. I said, I'm glad you called because I feel like you guys don't need me anymore, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we still need you, Mom. We just don't live with you. And we need you in other ways. I'm like, oh, that's great. So yes, so it definitely keeps me busy. I'm not one to sit still for very long. I'm too antsy
Yeah.
all the time. But yeah, I've definitely feel like, and especially with everything I'm going through personally,
Right.
it's definitely been, it's been amazing. Like, I don't even I have never even expressed it to my team, that they have given me another purpose the last few
Yeah.
months, and they've been, and they're great. Each and every one of them have been fantastic, and I don't even know if any of them really know what I'm going through personally. I doubt my partner has said anything, because he's great, in that way.
Yeah.
So, I guess they'll find out when they hear this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, where so with your partner, are you guys like equal parts of the company? So you each do your own part and like run it together, or how does that work?
Yeah, we bounce off each other, you know? I mean, even as far as, like, this morning, I told him that, I had a couple days off last week, that I'm back to work. So there's some stuff that needs to be done, so I kinda threw it at him because I told him I wasn't available, and,
Yeah.
he'll do the same, for me. He's got a lot on his plate, and he runs around everywhere. So I try to help him out with that, but then, again, I have a full-time job, and that pays my bills, and that's definitely, a priority. Maybe someday that'll change. But the county's been great,
Yeah.
to me.
You
So
enjoy
they
it.
I do, and I think it because it ties in with my passion.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I started working for them in January. So, I think everything this year happened for a reason. And I thought
Yeah.
that
I was gonna say that
2023.
because you mentioned that to me, and
Yeah,
it almost seems like the New Skull and Spirits, and it's like your new baby. You know what I mean? Because you're like
yeah,
growing it together, kind of, and this is like your new purpose. It's your new baby to grow and
yeah.
expand and evolve, and
Yeah, I thought 2023 was gonna be my year. I remember doing a vision board, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna rock this year." And I've learned, as, it's coming to a close, it was really for me to learn, to get to know myself again,
yeah,
and who I am, and I think I kind of forgot about who I was and what I loved doing, and so 2023 with coming to a closing, I think was more of a healing for me,
mm,
and, a learning, and I'm not saying we're not gonna learn more next year,
right,
but I think I'm ready, I think I'm ready for 2024, and,
yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna let anybody in my way.
Good, I love that. I feel the same exact way. I mean, it's hard when you have a year where you think it's going to be your year and unexpected stuff comes up. I know I'm kind of in that same predicament, not like the same circumstances, but just like stuff came up and I didn't expect it. And that can be hard, but it's also, you're right, it's a huge learning lesson to
Yeah.
take with us into the next year. And yeah, don't let anybody hold you back from taking action on what you want, for sure. So you plan to keep the two jobs, right? And kind of move forward with that in 2024?
Yeah, well, New Scotland Spirits really isn't a job.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet, I hope for it to be, but yes, my goal is to keep doing what I'm doing, and keep growing, and,
Yeah.
and I hope that, again, I'll go back, and I don't mean to harp on the age thing, but I feel like sometimes, people think they get stuck in a spot because they feel like they're too old, or they're
Hmm.
getting too old, and they can't make changes in their life, and I hope people realize that it's never too late, right? So
Yeah.
life is way too short. We don't know how long we're going to be here, and you need to be you. You need
Yeah.
to be. There's no I don't know who said that, there's an age for this or for that. I don't know who said that. But they're totally, totally wrong.
Yeah.
I'm 55 years old. I have no problem saying that. I have no problems, starting over, though
Yeah.
I would have preferred not to.
Right.
you know,
We all would
um,
prefer not to start over.
I would have preferred not to, but at the end of the day, I feel better. I don't feel like I'm stuck anymore,
Yeah.
right? So nobody should
Yeah.
feel like they're stuck. It's a choice, and yeah. So
Absolutely.
I'm in a good spot, I think.
Good. I mean, you seem super happy and ready to go. I love it. And you're motivating me because so I'm a hairdresser as well. And I've been procrastinating for over a year and a half to start over here in New York because I moved here from Maine. And I finally took action and it's exciting for me. But at the same time, you have to start over, right? And that can be very daunting. But you're motivating me right now, Rosemary, to
Oh,
get my butt out there, not let anybody hold me back.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
never too
definitely.
late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep moving forward,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is, you don't know unless you try,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
don't know unless you get out there and try. I'm not saying I'm going to be successful, but I know that I give everything 110%, and
Yeah.
I'm definitely not ever going to do anything without giving it 110%.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to fail.
Yeah. Well, failure is lessons too, It's like we probably are going to
Yeah,
fail at some point, but it's okay. We can, like you said, you're that rubber band. You can get up and try again and
exactly. Right. You
yeah.
get down, you bounce right back up. That's the
Yeah.
way to do it.
I love
So,
it. You're
yeah.
awesome. So fun. Well, I think I actually have some connections for you. I'm going to email you after this to get New Scotland Spirits out a little bit more too and well known in the area. But I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, even some things that you haven't
Oh,
even
thank you.
told your coworkers. So
No, thank you so much, Megan. This was definitely an honor and a privilege to have been on with you.
yeah, I can't wait to share it. I know it's going to motivate so many people, and yeah, your story is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Megan. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Empowerhood is brought to you by Flourish Everyday Coaching. Check them out in the link below. And again, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. If you could take 60 seconds of your time and leave us an Apple review, this helps share the news about this podcast and help women all over the world. If you want to see the video version of this podcast, you can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next episode.